Talking about a grand civilization dwelling in the depths of our planet surely shakes the mind of the skeptical reader. And perhaps the strongest challenge is the spiritual mission of these elusive intraterrestrial beings. Do they help humankind in our journey towards infinity? But why? Who are they? Where are they from? In the history of different cultures on Earth, we find clear hints that inner dwelling, a secret place where the rishis or mahatmas, supra-human beings that only allow entry into their world, those who have been called. It is in the East where most references to the underground kingdom are. It is so because according to the Tibetan legends, it was the Gobi Desert in Mongolia, where the first physical center of the White Brotherhood, later known by the name of Shambhala, main city of Intraterrestrial network of Akahata, was established. That name is no longer strange to many. Also called Shangri-La, the supreme center of invisible masters, was addressed in a high-impact movie based on the book Lost Horizon by novelist James Hilton. The message reached many souls, but the search for Shambhala stretches back decades. Many explorers have gone after her, tracking her in the sands of the Gobi or in the Himalayas. And although not all were successful in their endeavor, they found disturbing evidence of their role and the beings that inhabit it. Perhaps one of the most celebrated experiences with Shambhala was that of Nicholas Roerich, Russian explorer and artist, who embarked in the 1920s an expedition to Tibet and Central Asia. There he was invited to visit the underground kingdom. In 1926, Roerich saw in daylight a golden object, as if it were a sphere or possibly a disk, reflecting sunlight while imposing flying in the skies of the mountain range Altai Himalaya. The lamas who accompanied him, unsurprisingly facing this extraordinary fact, claimed that it was a sign of Shambhala. It does not surprise us either, as we know that celestial visitors perform surveillance and monitoring functions in the vicinity of an interior retreat. The object eventually disappears behind the mountains of Humboldt, as the caravan accompanying the European explorer exchanged with obvious enthusiasm the wonder they had witnessed. During the sighting, both lamas and Roerich perceived a special perfume, like flowers, a phenomenon that often accompanies contact experiences. To give a quick scientific idea of it, let's say that humans normally generate a vibration between 62 MHz and 68 MHz. For example, if our frequency decreases only to 57 MHz, we may be immune to a cold or flu. Detailed studies of aromatherapy conclude that on this scale, the highest vibration is issued by the fragrance of the rose, which can reach up to 320 MHz. In other words, these supernatural perfumes perceived in contact experiences are actually waves of high vibrational quality, which have been felt even in their own Marian apparitions. Definitely Roerich lived a close encounter as he headed towards Shambhala, where should leave a mysterious stone that fell from the sky. He went in search of La Torre del Rey, presumably located in the heart of Shambhala. His journey, beyond seeking to meet the Mahatmas face to face, was to return a strange black stone to the tower that stays on forever by a light from another world. I've already talked about that stone in other articles. Was Chintamani Stone part of a much larger body that came from heaven, now hidden in the Gobi Desert? It is said that the stone has mysterious properties, like being able to turn telepathy on or create a consciousness transformation on people who were just in contact only with her. Interestingly, the black stone of the Kaaba in Mecca and the stone that was in the former temple of Cybele, goddess mother of the Middle East, was also part of that magical meteorite. To give an idea of this, in his book Betas, Homme et Dieu in 1924, to give an idea of this in his book, M. Ferdinand Ossendowski already mentioned that the stone of power that would have been sent in ancient times by the king of the world, spiritual head of Shambhala, to the Dalai Lama and then transported to Urga in Mongolia, suddenly disappeared for about 100 years. Rene Guénon, in his book The King of the World in 1927, rightly related the puzzle with Lapsit Exilis, the stone fallen from heaven, upon which appeared inscriptions in certain circumstances, and which is identified to the Grail in Wolfram de Nachtenbach's version. Anyway, the initiates think that the origin of the strange stone is in Orion. According to the Lama's stories, whenever humanity faces a new spiritual mission, a fragment of this stone, Chintamani, is sent to the surface of the planet and then returns to Shambhala when the mission is complete.